Well, I'm going to get going too. So, first and foremost, welcome to everybody, guests and members of the ASPH. We're so happy to be able to put this together and have you folks participate. It's been a long time. January the 7th was the last time we had a meeting. So 10 months ago, a little over. That's really nice to be able to get together. I want to thank the members of the board who made this possible. Debbie Combs, for our secretary, for doing such hard work, keeping everybody notified about it. Jody Hurt for doing a wonderful job hosting this with her Zoom account and putting in some great ideas about getting this going. Odette, Faye, Odette, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Oh, I see two screens for Odette.
Oh, that's because the computer doesn't work. I'm on my iPad.
Okay, all right. And Odette, thank you so much, and for coordinating with Lynnette to get her to be a speaker, and so grateful that we have Lynnette Baumgart and Lindsay Brady to speak to us tonight. The way this is really going to go, we're going to do this, the speakers. Odette is going to introduce Lynnette, and she'll speak, and then I'm going to introduce Lindsay, and he'll do his presentation. And afterwards, we're going to have a short ASPH business discussion for all the ASPH members who are participating. And we're going to talk about getting a copy of this or being able to access it, getting a certificate if somebody is needing a certificate that they participated in this training. And we're going to talk about sending out a survey to our members for future meetings. And we'll get all that lined up afterwards. Well, without further ado, and I'm sure everybody's here enough to hear me run my mouth, Odette, if you would introduce Lynnette, we'd be happy, and we can get going with the presentation.
Hey, thank you, Skip. Well, welcome everybody. This is exciting. What a fantastic turnout. And you know what? I've done enough Zoom meetings with work and other activities that I can promise you this is going to be a fantastic experience for you. I mean, you can get as much out of this as you can if we were live and you're doing it from the comfort of your own home with your pets around you and food. So let me introduce Lynnette Baumgart. She's a holistic practitioner, and she has studied with so many modalities and some really high profile people. She has a hypnosis certification from Donald Rice, the New Beginnings Center, neuro-linguistic programming, medical hypnotherapy. She's a certified clinical hypnotherapist through the Atwood Institute for Research and Education, certified soul key therapist, which is absolutely fascinating. And that's with Martin Castor Peterson. I believe he was one of our speakers last year. Integrative NLP certification through Dr. Matt James. We both went through that class together, and that is a fantastic program. She received her Bachelor of Arts in Communication from the University of Green Bay in Green Bay, Wisconsin, a fellow Midwesterner. She also is skilled in natural health and healing, including functional nutrition, Chinese nutritional medicine, acupressure, and energy work, including Reiki, Qigong, and Feng Shui. So I am excited to turn this over to Lynnette. She is fantastic. And you're going to enjoy this hour session or so with her. So Lynnette, I turn it over to you.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, excellent. So yes, it's an honor to be able to talk to a professional hypnotherapist. And my talk today is about spiritual hypnotherapy, what I call spiritual hypnosis. Also, I'd like to introduce you to the use of different sounds, deep breathing, and guided meditations. And then I put together a guided healing meditation for us to do to work at the end of the session for clearing. So I'm excited to do all this. I've practiced it, I timed it. So if everything goes well, we should have plenty of time for everything. So yes, my niche is what I call spiritual hypnosis. through all the different teachers that I've worked with in learning hypnotherapy and my personal interest in studies in mediumship and metaphysical and spiritualism, I developed a niche of spiritual hypnotherapy, working with the higher self and focusing on bringing forward wisdom and knowledge on life purpose, mission, a person's mission, past life regressions, Akashic records, guidance, insights, and meeting personal guides. So it's been pretty fascinating. So a few of the books that my theory is based on is The I Am Presence, The Divine Spark with Each of Us, which is by Godfrey Ray King. And if anybody's interested, I do have one of the discourses in a PDF file I could forward to you guys, which led me to the Summit Lighthouse and Further Teachings of Saint Germain, Access Your Inner Power by Elizabeth Clare Prophet. So just, it's a little book. It's a wonderful little book. But then The Gnosis in the Law, which is the most amazing book I think I've ever read, which I was introduced to by Patricia Rubles with the Era of Peace, the organization of New Age study of humanity's purpose, which is out of Tucson. Also, Joe Dispenza is amazing work. Watching his YouTube videos and reading his books has been great. So combining all of this together, the base of my theory was starting with the teachings actually from Dr. Michael Preston with the Medical Institute of Hypnotherapy. And he taught about us having three aspects of the mind. He also taught about energy, but three aspects of the mind. And I did, if anybody was able to get, I did send out like 2 handouts. So if you didn't get them or if you want them, so this is the first one that I'm going to be reviewing. This is just a summary about that, about the different aspects of consciousness. So as we know, we have the conscious mind, which is our outer awareness, deposits information, gathers and analyzes information, awareness, logic and reasoning. And then we have our subconscious, which is the inner awareness, the memory bank that uses information, focus of control, directing body functions, emotions, imagination, and feelings. But then we have our superconscious mind. Now the superconscious is the higher self, the inner alchemist, which holds a vision of the highest potential and purpose or mission in life and intuition. So I'm sure you probably all have heard about, maybe you haven't, there's the three aspects of the consciousness. They also say that we have 3 brains. We have our gut, we have our heart, and we have our mind. So a little bit of trivia for you in the development of a fetus, which came first, the heart or the brain? It was the heart that came first. And the scientific proof of heart intelligence can be found in Dr. Joe Dispenza's work in Becoming Supernatural, which is an amazing book. If I had all these books together, so if we were able to meet, you could all review them. But he writes about heart intelligence, and he's done a lot of scientific studies in the heart brain. So the heart literally has a mind of its own, with as many as 40,000 neurons. The heart has a nervous system that functions independently of the brain. So there's heart coherence. Coherence, the quality of being logical and consistent. Positive feelings make us feel lighter and freer, and the energy of the whole state of being is elevated, creating heightened sense of overall well-being. So the heart is an energy expander and creates a magnetic field around the heart and the body. So when you're feeling hurt, angry, competitive, frustration, all those different things that aren't as positive, it signals the heart. And the heart and brain become incoherent. So when the heart goes into coherence, there's increased access to deeper intuition and internal guidance. So the heart is directly connected to the higher self through the silver cord. Now this is the other image that I had sent, the black and white, that shows the physical body, and then the higher self here, and then what they call the causal body, are the Christ self. So you can almost think of as the higher self is the gatekeeper, but it can look up and down, and they show a silver cord that comes through that attaches to the heart. One of the best teachings of this is in the Gnosis of the Law. And so the higher self is able to look both ways. It can look down at the lower self, the physical being, seeing the shadows there, and what is needed to transmute them. And then it can also look into the divine I am presence. So the higher self and its great wisdom draws forth whatever is needed to answer a person's questions and needs, whether it is physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, from all time and space at a level that a person is able to work with. So I choose to work with the higher self in all of my sessions. Are there any questions so far? No? Okay, great. So the higher self knows absolutely everything about a person's spirit and soul consciousness from the very beginning of the birth of that spirit spark, and all experiences from all realms, incarnations, and embodiments that develop the soul consciousness. The higher self knows about all agreements and has all this knowledge that will assist the lower self in this current space and time embodiment. So it acts as a go-between of the higher and lower bodies and provides selective intelligence based on one's needs and current requirements. So it's quite fascinating. So in the teachings of the Gnosis and the law, now Gnosis means knowledge or insight into humanity's real nature as divine. From the original I am is propelled a stream of electronic essence into the physical form through the silver cord that enters the body from the top of the head and anchors in the heart. I found it very interesting in the Empowerment NLP with Dr. Matt James that they teach about energy, and I feel there's a strong connection with this, is how the energy comes down from spirit to the mental, emotional, and then the physical. So wherever there is a block or a shadow due to false beliefs, negative thoughts, past traumas, etc., symptoms of distress will present themselves. Likewise, life lessons energy moves up from the physical to the emotional, to the mental, to the spirit, and then to the higher self. But these blocks can become a barrier from a person working directly with their higher self and their heart intelligence, as we talked about the heart coherence. So the silver cord connection from the heart to our higher selves is a strong acknowledgement. And so it's very, very powerful to work with the higher self. So I just want to share a little story with you of one of my clients when she was doing the spiritual hypnotherapy. And she was really concerned about her son. Her son had a problem with alcohol. And she was amazed at the number of angels that came to assist her. And I could see a whole sense of peace and calm. What they showed her was her son, what he came here to resolve. It's a tattoo over his heart. And this tattoo grew to cover his feet and legs, holding him back. So one of the strongholds that was holding him there was her own thoughts and feelings. She was a part of this. Her fear was adding to his issue. They showed her son as a whole, healed man in the future. And the feeling and attitude was expressed to her that was needed to assist him. Feelings of faith and love without doubt and fear. So we cannot change energy, negative emotions, but we can transmute them because there's always energy there and we can change the energy, but we can't get rid of the energy. So like my client now, she transmuted the feelings of fear and doubt into the feelings of well-being for her son. And by holding the image of feelings of her son's wellness, not only did she shift her own well-being, but she was able to assist her son with his moving forward to heal. So really amazing, amazing things happen. So if there aren't any questions right now about the theory, I will go into the technique that I use and some of the sounds. Any questions? No? All right. Wonderful. Okay. So the technique that I use is the teachings that are from Martin Peterson and his Soul Key Advanced Life Therapy technique. And I shifted the format. Like any form of hypnotherapy that we learn, there's always a way to adjust with working with them and make it your own. And so I call it Soul Key Spiritual Hypnotherapy because it goes beyond past life. He calls it advanced past life, but there's so much more that this is what it's like going directly to the in-between lives and working with your higher self directly. So this is how I work with my clients. So the client is told that they will go to a place to meet and communicate with their guides and their higher self, a place of unconditional love, knowledge, and healing. And after the pre-talk and discussion about what the client is wanting knowledge of or healing of, they move on to the hypnotherapy chair, and the session always begins with a prayer, which I say out loud. And I call in the divine, I call in their higher self and my own, and both of our guides, guardian angels and counselors and master healers, etc. And I, with gratitude and thanks for their assistance, and I feel that the prayer is very important, the calling on their higher selves. Also, one of the things that I have is another image that I have. It's a printed image, if you can see. It doesn't have the middle person, but it's like, so I actually have this behind me. I don't discuss it, but it will be sitting here. So when they're sitting in the chair, they're looking at me, they're looking at this. So they have that mental image of them connected to a higher being, which mentally I think is helpful. So anyway, I love that poster, which is from the chart of, oh, it's from the Summit Lighthouse. They have those there. That's where I got that from. Okay. My phone is buzzing. Put that aside. So in the technique, then after I explain all this to them and we know what it is that they're wanting to work on, getting additional knowledge or wisdom of, where they're looking for healing for, and as we're working with the higher self and soul lessons, no matter what you're working to heal, there's always a lesson. What is there to learn? What is there that you need to realize? And once they realize these lessons, they're able to move on, and it's extremely powerful. Obviously, there are oftentimes, one session is not enough, more sessions, because it's like a peeling of an onion, and there's more. So what I do is I do 3 deepening techniques. Now, again, a lot of this teachings, I believe that from Dr. Michael Preston, he liked for clients to go very deep. And I find it's most helpful because when people are that deep, they will actually find it easier to talk, but also oftentimes they will channel and their guides will talk through them, which is really quite amazing. So I do the progressive relaxation. And after that, I do, again, in a technique, it's always important to let a person know ahead of time what will be happening, starting to plant those seeds. And it's much more successful that way than just saying walk through the door. It's like there is a door which you will be walking through. So I let them know right away that there is a pillar, a tunnel of light before them. And a magical experience is going to happen, allowing their physical body to stay here in this deep healing relaxation while the soul mind and soul body gets woken up and they move into a realm of love and peace to meet and communicate with their higher self and their guides. And I do a countdown from 8 to 1. And this is one of the areas where I like to bring in the sound, because I use the gong. I don't know if you can see the gong, but so with each, it does an amazing vibration. I hope it carries through well. So I do the gong. With each count, can you hear that? And the vibration goes through them, and it's the strength of the vibration of calm that awakens. It's so much fun. I want to play. Okay, to work with the gong. So the gong is amazing. And so I use the gong at that point. You always have to make sure you don't hit it too hard because you can jolt them. So nice, quiet, and the vibration. So I use the gong at that point for the deepening technique there. So now their soul, mind, and soul body is awakened, and they're able to move forward. And that it is their soul body and soul mind that goes into the tunnel. Here again, there's another deepening technique from 10 to 1. And it goes into the tunnel or the pillar of light. They tell you which it is, what it is to them. And they move into the higher realms. And they step up from the pillar of light. Once they get to number 1, they step out of the pillar of light and they're in this special meeting place. And the client needs to, this is where I start recording the session. The client explains to you where they are and what is happening and where they are led. Oftentimes they go straight there. They're right there in the structure. They see things. They sense the being with them right away. Sometimes we have to pull them forward. And the higher selves they're called to call in. And throughout all this, I'm reminding them what they're there to get their answers for. So the higher self is discriminating. It's selective intelligence that knows our needs and requirements at this time. And in its great wisdom, it draws forth whatever they are wanting that is needed to answer the one's calls. Not only can you meet these guides and advisors, counselors, healers, angels, you never know who's going to be coming through. Sometimes higher selves and people that are working the situations out come through. Sometimes a deceased loved one comes through, showing them something. So it's important to have all your different techniques in your pocket, to work with, because in assisting them and bringing them forward and knowing what it is that they're wanting. So whether you're going to work with a movie screen or, to bring that forward, or for a picture to show up in front of them, which if they're going into a future past life and they step into that and bring back the wisdom and the knowledge from that. So just going to the library and having their soul book or Cosmic record open up in their hands, whether it's a scroll or a book, and for it to open to the page that it would be most helpful. And there's always a healing room and a healing portal. Often we start in the healing room and the healing portal, and we may go there again before we leave. So another really wonderful example that I had for you was this gentleman. He was having challenging time getting over a relationship, and he also was struggling with career choices and what he was really wanting to do. So it was really interesting because they brought him back into a medieval time, and he was on his horse with all of his armor and everything, and there was this woman who was like a lower caste, and like a cleaning lady or something like to that extent, and he wanted to marry her, and she said no, she wouldn't marry him even though he was in this upper classman or whatever, because she wasn't in love with him. And so she came back to work with him in this life, and he did everything he could to try to build his career so he could have, make enough money. And while he did that, he ignored the relationship, and she met somebody else. So I said to him, so what is your lesson here? And he goes, the lesson is it's not about the finances. The lesson is it's all about the love, and to pay attention on that. So he did say that he got it. So she did come back to assist him with that. And then, with the career, they showed him actually doing his work. He wants to be an inspirational speaker. And I didn't know that beforehand, but they showed him at a university setting. They showed him in the courtyard, and then they showed him in an auditorium speaking to people. And people were walking up to him, shaking his hands, thanking him for all the knowledge and wisdom that he had shared with them. And he could feel, within himself, the success of working with this was very, very powerful. So it's very important that you just really need to just go with where the client is, because you never really know where they're going to end up. I mean, they could be in darkness and they need to be brought into light. They could end up in a garden, in a cabin, in a crystal palace, in another world, on top of the world. You don't know. So you really have to be focused and really listen and to lead them and follow them through. So the most important thing, here is that knowing that there is that attachment with heart intelligence to the higher self. And anytime that a client is looking for internal answers, you can just ask them to touch in with their heart and know they're touching in with their higher selves, and they can bring the information forward. This would be the easiest way. And when you read about other hypnotherapists, where all of a sudden the client starts talking and all this knowledge starts coming through, this is what they're doing. And oftentimes I will even get messages, and I'll get thank yous. So thank you for helping this dear child, or they'll give me different messages will come through for me, which is also always amazing and incredible. So it's been a wonderful experience. So if there aren't any questions, I wanted to share with you too a few other tools. Now you need to be careful if you are working through online with somebody. I don't do the singing bowl because the sound of the singing bowl does not come through, but I have a crystal pyramid, and it's amazing sound. And if you move it, it sounds like you're moving through space. So that's another fun tool to work with. It's a crystal pyramid. And the other one that I want to share with you that I find to be very helpful, that people always say they enjoy, is the Kashi chimes. Now this is, it's Koshi. This is of the air. There's 4 of them, one for each element. You know, let's bring in the fairies. But anyway, it's a beautiful sound and people love it. And when I have it hanging here on the gong, on the edge of the gong, sometimes it plays itself, which is pretty cool. It'll just start ringing. Another thing that I like to work with sometimes for bringing them in and out is just the simple chimes. Now you need to be careful how you hold it, because if you just bump it, it'll play. So you really need to be in control, or you'll be playing the chimes without really realizing that you're playing the chimes. So those are the things I was wanting to introduce you to. So I introduced you to the different sounds, the books, and the images and information on the theory behind the higher self. And so if there aren't any questions, we've got time now to do the guided meditation. I see one thing under chat. Okay, so if you have a question, you can type it in the chat. And so far, it doesn't look like there's anything. All right, so are we ready to do a guided meditation? Wonderful, thank you. Okay, all right, so a lot has been happening and we're all connected, and there's the collective consciousness, and we can sense and feel things. As you know, you walk into a room and you can sense the energy. The same thing is true. So with this time of everything that is happening right now, this meditation is about clearing those energies. Okay, here's a question. This sounds like lives between lives. How long does it take you to take someone as deep as they need to go? I'll give myself 30 minutes to do the 3 deepening techniques.
Skip also had a question about the types of issues that you would use this technique for.
I use it for everything. Absolutely everything. Whether, as I said, so I mean, the things that I advertise, you know, on my card is like life purpose and mission. But I mean, I've had people that wanted to work with me with health issues. Okay, so let's look at why this health issue is there. What are you learning from it? What is needed for you to bring healing forward for this? For career, for focusing on something that they're looking to do in the future, whether they're an athlete, you know, or something like that. I mean, it works with absolutely everything, because you can show them where they're at. You can bring forward wisdom and knowledge from the past to give them more confidence and strength with it, to knowing that, you know, so it's really incredible. I use it with absolutely everything. And then again, like I said, within that, there are different techniques. I've only had 2 clients that felt like they were falling into darkness and just started crying. And they were so blocked that I wasn't even really able to do an analytical session within this session where they could just answer questions yes or no. Is this from this life, or, you know, before birth, at birth? They were just, they were totally disconnected. And then when we did we would come back and do a second session, and oftentimes they just brought stuff with them from past lives that weren't working with them in this life that needed to be cleared. So it really shifted and changed. So that was not a soul key session. That was totally an energy healing session, which is a totally different thing. But that did happen twice in all the sessions I've done. And I do have another woman that I work with who is a seer and a channel and a master healer, and the 2 of us will work together for the healing. But she, as a seer, oftentimes can see things. So without getting too wild of the stories, I'll just share that much with you. Okay, is there anything else? watching the chat box there. Okay. All right. So this meditation is on clearing and strengthening the connection to your heart intelligence. Excuse me 1 second here. So breathe, relax, quieting and calming the mind with your breathing. So close your eyes, and with each breath, know that it causes you to relax more and more, creating a feeling of harmony and a sense of peace and well-being. Allow yourself to relax and be in the moment. All that matters right now is being present and allowing yourself to relax deeply. I'm calling in our divine Mother, Father, Creator, Source, the highest realms, the highest intelligence, and the master healers of the highest vibration of love. I call in our higher selves, guides and spirit guides, and I thank you all for surrounding us with the diamond white light of the vibration of love. I call upon Mother Earth, and I thank you for taking all discordant energy released during this meditation and transmuting it into positive, loving energy. Blessed be. Breathing deeply and listening to the sound of my voice. That's right. Take in several deep breaths into your solar plexus. Know that with each breath that you take, it causes your mind to be still, allowing for deep, peaceful, comfortable relaxation. With each exhalation, it causes your body to relax, releasing any stress or tension. Very good. Now do a quick, brief inventory as you rest there. Notice how your body is feeling. And if there are any areas of discomfort or tension, just let these areas relax as you breathe into them. Breathing into these areas now and letting go, releasing and relaxing. Very good. Now breathe into your solar plexus. Know that our divine creator source is here. The diamond white light of the vibration of love has been pouring in around you and upon you. The diamond white light of the vibration of love. This loving light, vibration is around you now. Taking in deep breaths into the solar plexus. Breathing in this diamond white light. Breathing in the vibration of love. Deep breaths in. Deep exhalations out. As you inhale, feel the chest expand, filling to its fullest. Hold it for a moment. And exhale, relaxing deeper and deeper. Eyes and eye muscles relaxing now. Slow the breath down. In the slowness of the breath, feel the energy, sense the energy moving through you now. Take it in, knowing you are breathing in the universal life force, the vibration of love. When you exhale, it causes a release of all negativity from the day to leave you, replacing it with each inhalation with new energy, with the vibration of light and love. As you breathe in the vibration of love, the energy moves through you. Sense, feel, know that you are surrounded by the vibration of love, the universal life force. And with each inhalation, the vibration of love travels through your body. Legs, shoulders, arms, hands, relaxing now, feeling heavy with a peaceful, comfortable relaxation. That's right. Breathe deeply now, all the way into your feet. Breathe all the way into your feet now. Very good. With each inhalation, allow Mother Earth's nurturing, powerful energy to move up through the body, cleansing and clearing away all energy that is the opposite of joy, love, peace, and harmony. Releasing all negative energy with each exhalation from the self and the collective consciousness. Releasing all fear, worry, doubt. Releasing all tension and stress. For this energy to go back into Mother Earth, to clear and transform into positive energy of love, peace, and harmony. That's right. Energy flows up and through the body with each inhalation, or releasing all negative energy back into Mother Earth to be transformed. Cleansing and clearing the body now in its entirety from all darkness and negative energy with each inhalation. Inhale, bringing in the vibration of love. Exhaling out all darkened energy, clearing and cleansing from every atom, neuron, electron, cell, DNA, RNA. Bringing in, inhaling the vibration of love, and exhaling out all negative energy and clearing all muscles, skeletal system, all bones and joints. Inhaling, bringing in the vibration of love, and exhaling out all darkened energy and clearing from all the nervous systems throughout the body and the spinal column. Inhaling, bringing in the love and light, exhaling out all negative energy and clearing the circulatory and cardiovascular system, the blood, the heart, the lungs, the nose, the mouth. Inhaling in the vibration of love, exhaling out old darkened energy and clearing all organs, the digestive system, the urinary system, kidneys, bladder, the reproductive system, clearing out all the organs, cleansing and clearing. Inhaling in, bringing in the vibration of love. And exhaling out all darkened energy and clearing the lymphatic system, the immune, the lymph nodes and vessels, the spleen, thymus gland. Inhaling, bringing in the love and light. And exhaling out all darkened energy and clearing the left and right hemisphere of the brain, all glands and the endocrine system, the pineal, the hypothalamus, the thalamus, thyroid, and adrenals. Each breath causes your whole body to continue to relax deeper and deeper. So feel, sense, and know how much lighter and brighter your body is becoming. Inhaling, bringing in the vibration of love and light. Exhaling out all darkened energy and clearing the skin, the hair, the sense receptors, the sweat and oil glands, from all senses, the eyes and the ears. Inhaling, bringing in the vibration of love, and exhaling out all darkened energy and clearing and cleansing all the energy centers, the chakras and meridians, aligning, harmonizing, and balancing them. Moving throughout the body in its entirety, as well as outside and around the body, the auric body, the mental, emotional, etheric, pranic bodies. Focus again now on breathing into the solar plexus. Breathing again now into the solar plexus. There may be a little bit more clearing, still some fragments that you're holding. It can be released into Mother Earth to be transformed. So we'll do this a second time, clearing, but we'll go much faster. Breathing in through the feet now. Knowing that with each inhalation, you are bringing in the love and the light. And with each exhalation, you are cleansing and clearing out all negative energy to Mother Earth to be transformed into positive energy. From every atom, neuron, electron, cell, DNA, and RNA. From all muscles and skeletal systems, from all bones and joints. Throughout all the nerves, the nervous system throughout the body and the spinal column. The blood, the heart, the lungs, throughout the whole circulatory and cardiovascular system. All organs, lymphatic system, immune, lymph nodes, vessels, spleen, thymus gland. Breathing in the vibration of love and exhaling out all negative energy. Cleansing and clearing the brain, all the glands, the endocrine system, the pineal, the hypothalamus, the thalamus, the thyroid and adrenals, the skin, the hair, the sense receptors, all glands, sweat and oil glands. Clearing and cleansing all energy centers, chakras and meridians. Aligning, harmonizing, and balancing them. Clearing and cleansing throughout the body in its entirety, as well as the pranic and auric body around you. Breathing slowly and deeply. Breathe back into the solar plexus now. Notice how much lighter and brighter you now feel. That's right. Slow down the breath. Feel the energy flowing freely within you. Breathe in and feel and relax. Opening your heart to the vibration of love. Bring your awareness to the heart. Bring your awareness to the heart now. Focus on your heart. Breathe slowly. Feeling, sensing the heart connection. Awakening your heart intelligence and inner healing abilities. Harmonizing the heart and brain. Deepening strong heartfelt intuition. Connecting with heart intelligence. Allowing the heart energy to bring forth wisdom, ease, and grace. Create feelings and a sense of gratitude, compassion, appreciation, joy, and love. Emitting your light. That's right, emitting your light. Place a hand on your heart now, sealing in this clearing and anchoring in the vibration of the divine love, and knowing that through the heart, you are connected to your higher self. Listen to the inner voice. Now, during these last few months, much has been happening within all the changes. There is a soul lesson here for you. So listen to your heart now and allow the message of the lesson to come forward now. I will give you a minute to sit in this space. Now focusing on my voice, allow yourself to begin to fully return to the here and now. With each breath in, becoming more and more alert. When you open your eyes, your vision is clear, your mind is sharp and clear, feeling wonderfully light and bright with a renewed connection with your heart intelligence. When you're ready, open your eyes. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Everybody, take your time and coming back.
That was beautiful, Lynnette. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. That was amazing.
So any questions or comments? Anybody want to share?
Actually, I'd forgotten how good that feels. And then when you asked about, you know, like what kind of message was I getting, or I forget how you said it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I got this image right away, and then my analytical mind kicks in, and it's like, well, how do I know that it's a message versus just my intellect? So,
Well, how you know is there's a lot of different teachings about working with heart intelligence, and there's a storm. They're saying maybe you don't want to get on the plane. This is extreme. So you go and you ask your heart, is it okay? And your body becomes almost like kinesthesiology, becomes like a living, you are the pendulum, all right? But you need to know, you know, a yes or no answer. So if it's like, is it all right? And you will be pulled forward generally for yes. You need to be pushed away with a no. So I'll have clients to say, but my monkey mind. I said, all right, fine, clear your head for a second. Let's practice this and just listen to the heart. Is this a true message from my heart? You always have to ask a quick yes or no question first, like, what is your name? And it was interesting, one time I was teaching this one gal this, and she uses her middle name, and she goes, well, what's your first name? She goes, well, it's you know, Claire or whatever. She goes, is my first name Claire? And she kept getting pushed back. I said, well, that's interesting. Okay, so let's ask another question. And he goes like, and it was still, you know, I'm like, this is very curious. And she goes, well, actually, that's my middle name. I used my middle name. I said, well, if you'd ask, what first name do I use? So I said, well, ask it what is your first name, your birth given first name? So she asked, goes, my first name, you know, Elizabeth. And she was like, oh my gosh. So I was telling her all along. So, but you have to really have a clear mind, and you can ask simple questions. And then if you go into meditation, so you want to connect with your heart and your higher self, and let the messages come through. It's a wonderful practice.
Thank you for doing that. That was just wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. This was actually a meditation that was provided to me in a channel to help people with clearing the fear and worry from this time. So I want to share it with as many as I can.
And that was powerful too. I'm sorry.
Do you happen to, Lynnette, give a message of trusting the information as it comes in, so that kind of disputes or puts aside the analytical mind?
Well, this is where the conversation about the heart is connected to the higher self that knows all. It knows everything. So there will be no questions. You would feel no doubt. And when people work with it, and you'll ask a question like, recently I worked with a gal, she was only 23. And she wanted to know, you know, what should I be doing? You know, should I stay with, you know, being like, you know, an athletic coach for people? And she goes, I've had emotional, mental problems my whole life with depression and so forth. And anyway, so we talked about the heart intelligence and working with that. So during the Soul Key session, she goes, I can feel it in my heart. I can feel it in my heart. And so it was really quite amazing, because they showed her working with young athletes. And so she also finally accepted her sexuality, that she was a lesbian. And I said, so I asked the question, what is there for healing of, you know, of this mental depression and anxiety and stuff? And she's like, self-love. And with self-love, it'll all go away. She thought it was all genetics, but we know that only 1% of illness is really genetics. It's the emotional, mental body brings it through. So that was really, you know, so they'll feel it. You'll feel the difference, you know.
Well, the question arose due to the other participant who had mentioned where there was a message being given, and then there was this battle between, is this true or is this just my intellect answering it? So that's why I posed the question.
Right. Where do you feel it in your body? Are you all in your head? Can you feel it in your heart? I mean, you will feel it. And it's just like that instant gut tuition, you know, like, I don't know that I want to do that. My gut does it, you know, the instant, it's an instantaneous feeling. As soon as you start thinking about it and bringing in anxiety and stuff, you're disconnecting from the heart.
Oh, I know what the truth was. I felt it. And it's
Okay.
just, that's just me. You don't know what I'm like. I mean, I do this metacognitive analytical thing. I mean, that's how I was raised. So, but no, I
And
know
I'm
what the
very much
answer
in
was.
line, you
Pardon
know,
me?
so it's a great practice to like just take a deep breath and you know allow it to feel and see what comes through, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. What did you think of the sounds beforehand? Anyway, I want to play the gong now.
Your gong came through very well. The other sounds did too. The triangle, menza. But yeah, the other ones, at least on my computer, came through well.
Good, yeah. I will never work with a singing bowl with the computer because the sound gets so distorted. It's like, oh my gosh, what is that noise? Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you
And
so much, Lynnette.
if anybody didn't get the, you know, the 2 information sheets, you know, of the, if they're interested and still want them, or the divine chart, or the, you know, what the information about the different consciousness, those are all available too.
Yeah, that was in the email, right, Debbie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Where's our president? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. You're on mute or something,
Skip, you
Skip.
need to unmute yourself.
I just did.
There you
Can
go.
you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Lynnette, thank you so much for sharing your gifts and your knowledge and your technique with us.
Thank you.
Really
It's my
appreciate that
pleasure.
very much.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. It's my distinct pleasure to be able to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Lindsay Brady. Lindsay became a hypnotherapist back in 1972, certainly before I was born. And he's conducted, in his last bio that we had at ASPH, over 34,000 hypnosis sessions, not including demonstrations and stage show performances and lectures. So to say he has a little bit of experience would be an understatement. Lindsay served for more than 15 years as an officer of the ASPH, 5 of which he was the president of this organization. So he has a long track record of professionalism and giving with this organization. It exists because of him. He was one of the founding members of this organization. They used to hold the meetings back in his home back in those days. And he has a huge vested interest in keeping it going because he really believes in the professionalism of hypnotherapy. And he's a great teacher as well. And we're going to find that out tonight. His approach to hypnotherapy is distinctly different from traditional methods and those of his contemporaries. He says that his procedure is simple, easy, and effective. And he's refined this technique in over 43 years, actually now 48 years of working with all these clients. Early in his career, he observed that when a person's perceptions change, their behavior automatically changes. And in short, human behavior is not determined by what a person wants or what a person is trying to do, but rather it's determined by how the individual sees themselves and how they perceive themselves. You're going to hear him say a lot the word perception. In fact, not letting any cats out of the bag, but I think he's authoring a second book now that deals with perceptions. His first book was remarkable, As the Pendulum Swings.
Yep.
It's what made me come in contact with Lindsay because I read that book and I reached out to him by email. I had never met him before that point and wanted to strike up a conversation with him and pick his brain. Fortunately, I got a chance to do that when we got together for a couple hours, probably about a year or so ago. But he's discovered that by simply changing a client's self-perception, the desired behavior automatically happens. That's his bio. But what I want to say is as a result of my time spent with Lindsay, it changed the way that I do hypnotherapy. And literally, every first session that I do with clients now is different because of what I learned from him. And I understood so well and so quickly how certain techniques and words that he says and the way that he couches those words has such a dramatic effect on the clients. I've gained a ton of confidence using the techniques that he's going to show tonight. I believe that he's going to show tonight using the pendulum and the little crosshairs. Everybody, I think, has one of those. I fashioned my own little pendulum out of a hunk of chain that was a necklace with a little doodad on the bottom from one of my wife's craft boxes, and it works perfectly. He's probably
Does your
going to
wife
show
know?
you. He's probably going to, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was just wondering if your wife knew.
Oh, she knows. I stole it from her, but I give her credit. It was her craft box, not mine. Okay, without further ado, Lindsay, it's all yours.
Am I up?
You are
up.
up, sir.
Okay. First of all, thanks for that introduction, Skip. And I want to also express my gratitude for all those people on the ASPH board that have made this happen. It was not a simple thing to accomplish. Now, and I also want to introduce a very special person to me that I met 45 years ago, and that is S. Ramachandra and his wife, Ragini. And they dwell in India. Ramachandra would be certainly a great asset to our organization if he chose to become a part of it. Now, my approach to hypnosis is different from most hypnotherapists. And maybe on the other end of the spectrum from Lynnette's approach. And that is to say that my approach would be scientific. I really enjoyed Lynnette's presentation. I learned a lot from it. But I'd like to talk to the group about the process of hypnosis. Now, I'd prefer to call it perceptionism rather than hypnotism. And most of the things that I will be talking about and demonstrating did not come from other hypnotists or books or seminars about hypnosis. Most of it came from my clients. And I've sat down with tens of thousands of clients, and I get feedback from them, and I ask them questions and they give me answers, and then they ask me questions and sometimes challenge what I'm saying, and I'll take that and analyze it and then apply it to helping people change their behavior. Now, most of the time for a given issue, I see people once. Now I make a recording of their session so they'd have that to listen to for reinforcement backup. And if people want to come back, that's fine. But most often it is for some other issue. And my presentation is going through or leading you through my pre-hypnotic talk that I present to every client that comes in. And I want to address it as though you, each one of you, was a client, came in for hypnotherapy and wanted to get rid of your stress and your anxieties. Stress and anxieties seems to dominate most of my business now, but also help people stop smoking, to lose weight, and to gain self-confidence, get rid of fears and phobias, and improve their life, and remove many times pain, physical pain. But this whole process that is called hypnosis, again, I would prefer to call perceptionism. And my approach to hypnosis is, again, unique. And I'm convinced that our brain will automatically produce for us any behavior our mind instructs it to produce. Now, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. By that, I mean everything that a person experiences that comes in for hypnotherapy, it comes from the powers within them, their mind and their being. Have no power over anyone. But the word itself, hypnosis, is a Greek term meaning sleep. Now, you do go into a sleep state, but you're always conscious and aware, because we can be both at the same time asleep and conscious. As in dreaming, while you're dreaming a dream, you're not unconscious, are you? You know what's going on in your dream. Remember it when you wake up sometimes. So you're not unconscious, but you are asleep. And in this conscious state of sleep, our brain is open and receptive to suggestions. And again, I'm completely convinced that our brain will automatically produce for us any behavior our mind instructs it to produce. And I define our mind as our conscious awareness. Well, if that is true, then I'm sure the next question is how to get your mind to tell your brain to produce the behavior you want, and to have it all happen again automatically. The messages, instructions your mind sends your brain are not the things you say to yourself. If what a person said to themselves were the message to their brain, we'd all be out of business. I mean, everyone has told themselves, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to get rid of my stress, my anxieties, I'm going to be more diligent in eating right and exercising. But those messages that are sent to our brain are not the things that we say to ourselves or other people say to us, or even what we are thinking. But the messages are the perceptions that are created by what we say, they say, or we think. And the problem is this: in an attempt and desire to change our behavior, the things that are being said produce exactly the opposite perception. Or in other words, I'm assuming that we're talking to someone who is really all stressed out and anxious. What really comes into your mind when you say to yourself something like, I'm going to get rid of my stress and my anxieties, and I'm just going to start enjoying life. Probably that comes to a person's mind is, who am I kidding? I said this 1,000 times before and not all happened. Got to be hard to get rid of the stress and anxieties with all of the pressures, demands, and deadlines in my life. But if I get rid of all of this stress and anxieties, maybe it will happen after the weekend. It's always off in the future that you're going to change. Perceive you're going to change your behavior, it must mean now you haven't. Now, what would come to your mind if someone else said to you, come on, just calm down, relax, and be peaceful. Can't do anything about it anyway, so just get on with your life. That's easy for you to say. You know, it's like for me, the more you tell me I got to calm down, relax, it just ticks me off and makes it all the worse. Now, once again, all of those perceptions are messages to our brain. And our brain automatically causes us to behave consistent with the perceptions. I want to lead you through some demonstrations that demonstrate that what I just said is true. And it is that your perceptions are messages to your brain. Your brain in turn automatically produces the behavior that causes the perception to become reality without you having to put forth any effort whatsoever. Now let me make a little more exact demonstration of what I'm saying. That our brain up in our head will automatically produce the behavior that causes a perception to become physical reality. Okay, and to make this demonstration, grab your pendulum or your crosshairs. If you don't have a crosshair, you can just write it down on a sheet of paper, an A, B, C, D axis. Grab your pendulum. Here's one that I made out of a paper clip and a thread. And take the pendulum and hold it right over the center of the cross with the A at the top. And with your mind, create a perception that the pendulum is swinging back and forth in the direction C to D. It'll automatically swing C to D. And now create a perception the pendulum is swinging in a circle. It will automatically go in a circle as soon as you perceive it is going in a circle now. Now perceive that the pendulum is hanging perfectly still right over the center of the cross. I want to have you demonstrate yourself, again, this is all self-hypnosis, that your perceptions instruct your brain only when conceived of as being true now and in the present. Holding the pendulum right over the center of the cross. And this time, instead of perceiving the ball is swinging C to D, perceive that sometime off in the future it's going to. And you see nothing happens at all. As long as you are perceiving it's going to happen. It's like I'm going to get rid of my stress. I'm going to get rid of my anxieties. If you're going to get rid of them, it must mean now you've got them. But change that perception to it is now swinging C to D. It'll automatically swing C to D. And hold in your mind that perception, the ball is now swinging C to D. I want to have you demonstrate yourself that your brain does not understand your words. Perceive it is swinging C to D. But to yourself, say over and over, A to B. But still perceive C to D. And you'll see your brain doesn't understand what you're saying. Your brain only understands and responds to your self-perceptions. Now you decide some direction for it to swing, and with your mind perceive it is swinging in the direction that you choose. And now choose some other direction. Okay, you can put your props down now and reason with me. Now, I know that unless you're really engaged in that demonstration, it was probably meaningless. But I believe for most of you, the pendulum swung in exactly the direction that you chose to perceive it swinging. But this is what I want you to really reason with me. That is your arm that is moving that makes the pendulum swing. Not some mystical power or magical force working directly on the pendulum. Darn it. But that is the very point of the demonstration. On a conscious level, you're probably trying to hold your arm still, trying to keep it from swinging. Well, apparently your brain didn't care what you're trying to do on a conscious level. Your brain only understood and responded to your self-perceptions. Your brain doesn't care you've been stressed out or anxious. Your brain doesn't care you smoke or you don't smoke. Brain doesn't care whether you overeat or don't exercise. All your brain understands your self-perceptions. How much effort did it take to make the pendulum swing? None. No effort. Once your brain got the instruction, the perception. None is how much effort it takes to change our behavior. All our brain needs is a changed perception. And the brain takes over and then creates the behavior. So the perception, the end result perception, becomes reality. Now reason with me further. You did not perceive your arm moving, did you? You did not perceive the behavior that made it swing. You chose to perceive the end result, the pendulum swinging. Now, if you would have imagined your arm moving, maybe that demonstration would have been a little easier to explain. But my question is this: how does your brain know how to take a perception of a pendulum swinging up there in your head, do some kind of processing, and automatically know not only which muscles to manipulate, but the very cells within those muscles to expand and to relax? That makes your arm move in the right way, so your end result perception becomes reality. And we are working on a cellular level relative to physical behavior. Now, let me really emphasize that I am not trying to get people to perform hypnotherapy as I do it. But the one thing I would like you to do is to take a few of these ideas and even these demonstrations and incorporate it into your approach to hypnosis. Now, when I'm working with a client, after that pendulum demonstration, I tell them what to expect during the session. And I say, I'll have you sit in a recliner, have you close your eyes, and then I will be leading you through a mental process to get your body into the state of sleep. But to get into that conscious state of sleep where the hypnotic process works, the messages are still your perceptions. So when I say to you now, your legs, your arms, your entire body is relaxed, with your mind perceive it's true now. When I ask you to relax your mind now, perceive your mind is open and receptive to the suggestions that I give. And that receptiveness is as simple as your willingness to, for a little while, let go of your analyzing by choosing to, with your mind, perceive that what I'm saying is true now. And then when I give you suggestions relative to your being peaceful, calm, relaxed, at ease, with your mind perceive that is how you behave now. And you don't have to worry about from now on. Have you ever wondered how long now is? Well, not very long. So short, this one's gone. But somehow you can't get out of it. You see, you cannot do anything in the past. You cannot do anything in the future. By having your mind the self-perception right now, you're peaceful, calm, relaxed, comfortable, enjoying life. Now, somehow right now turns out to be forever. But you don't have to be concerned about forever because you can't get out of now. Now, one of the biggest differences in my approach from most, I don't know, maybe most, but a lot of hypnotherapists and maybe most psychotherapists is we don't need to spend any time whatsoever rummaging around in the past in order to change now. And I ask people if they remember the movie The Lion King. And most people have.
Long time ago.
In one place, the monkey whaps the lion over the head with a stick. The lion says, "Geez, what did that for?" Monkey says, "It doesn't matter, it's in the past." And that's kind of my approach. The closer I come to dealing with issues of the past is suggesting to my client, regardless of the events in the past that have anything to do with your unwanted behavior now, is now as those events that created that unwanted behavior, it's as though it never happened now. Because we can't change the past, we need to plan for the future. Now, let me have you make another demonstration. I want to have you demonstrate yourself against all self-hypnosis that how you feel and how you act has nothing to do with what you know or what you want or what you're trying to do. But how you feel, and I mean physically feel as well as emotionally feel, because all of our emotions are felt physically. So I want to have you demonstrate yourself that how you feel and how you act has nothing to do with what you know or what you want or what you are trying to do. But how you feel and how you act is determined by your self-perceptions. And to have you make this demonstration, just put your arms out in front of you like this. Get them a little bit closer together so you can measure them. And then close your eyes. And with your mind, perceive that sitting on the back of your right hand and wrist is balanced a big dictionary. You know how heavy a dictionary would be if I set an arm like that. And with your mind, perceive that dictionary is pushing your right arm down now, getting heavier and heavier, more and more tired. Muscles in your right arm and shoulder becoming more and more fatigued now in the weight, pushing your right arm down, getting heavier, heavier, more and more tired. Now with your mind, perceive your left arm is very light and very buoyant. Just think about it floating up in the air. With your mind, perceive around your left wrist has been tied a big bunch of helium-filled balloons, like you see at a carnival. Giant bunch of balloons out there pulling your left arm up. All of the muscles in your left arm and shoulder are relaxed now. With those balloons pulling your left arm up higher, floating, comfortable, and relaxed. That dictionary's been out there a long time now, muscles even more fatigued and tired. Those balloons pulling up your left arm, floating, relaxed, and comfortable. Now open your eyes and look where your arms are. You can put them down now. Now there may be lots of movement, there may be a little bit of movement, but the movement is not the point of that demonstration. The point of the demonstration is that it created the feelings of tired and not tired. Well, both arms were at the same period of time, they should have been the same tired. And your brain not only knows how to make an arm feel tired and the other one not tired. Your brain knows how to remove and eliminate all those feelings of stress, tension, anxieties. and cause you to feel, behave, and act as though they were never there. Just like a minute ago, you're acting, feeling, behaving as though there was a dictionary of balloons. You knew there wasn't. Probably trying to hold them level. But your brain caused you to feel, behave, and act as though there was. Nothing to do with physical reality. Now, there's another factor I think we always have to deal with relative to helping people change their behavior. And that is, we truly do get conditioned or programmed into behavior. Just like Pavlov's dogs. I've always been amazed how many people, regardless of their background or culture, they know about Pavlov and his dogs. But once his dogs got conditioned to the sound of the bell, they would salivate. But salivation had nothing to do with the sound of a bell until it got paired with it, associated with it. You might say that when he rang this bell, his dogs had this need to salivate. For us human beings, there are different stimuli out there. It causes us to feel according to our conditioning. And relative to stress and anxieties, and I believe that all of our stress and anxieties are the consequence of being inconvenienced. Somebody does something they said they wouldn't do, or don't do something they said they would do, or they want everything done yesterday, or some unexpected event arises in our lives. All of those exterior stimuli are paired with the emotional feelings associated with them. But there is a huge difference between us as human beings and Pavlov's dogs and every other creature out there. And that is that none of them have the ability to choose their perceptions. Once they get conditioned into behavior, they're locked into that conditioned behavior, and they have no way to change it themselves. But if you don't like the pendulum swinging C to D, all you need to do is change perceptions. If you don't like your right arm getting tired, then put balloons on it. We human beings are the only ones that have the ability to intentionally choose our perceptions. Consequently, we are the only ones that have the ability to change and alter our behavior. And all our brain needs is a changed perception. And the behavior just happens. Pendulum happened to swing right way. Right arm happened to get tired. One last demonstration. I want to have you make for yourself. Again, it's all self-hypnosis. I want to have you demonstrate to yourself that the thing that makes things seem difficult and hard to do is perceiving that you can't do it. And what I'm saying is that it could have been as easy to be rid of the stress and the tension and the anxieties as it was to make a pendulum swing. But as long as we are perceiving, or as hypnotherapists, suggesting to people it's got to be hard to change, then it becomes hard to make change. Well, let me have you demonstrate yourself how. By you perceiving that you can't do something, that you really can, and that's really easy. But by you perceiving that you can't, your brain causes you to behave so you don't. And you make something that should be easy difficult. And the degree to which this demonstration works will be the degree that you choose to perceive what I'm asking you to perceive as true now. Just close your eyes again. And with your mind, perceive that now your upper eyelids are stuck to your lower eyelids, perception with your mind that now you can't open your eyes. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to try to open your eyes, but that perception is still there with your mind, that now your eyes are sealed. And all you'll be able to do is raise your eyebrows. With your mind, the perception that now your eyes are sealed, they are stuck tight closed, but try to open them now, and they'll just stick tighter and tighter shut. And now I'm not trying to open your eyes anymore and just leaving them closed. Reason with me. Let me ask a couple of questions. Did you try to open your eyes? But why didn't they open? I don't know either. All I know is as long as you're perceiving you can't open your eyes, your brain causes you to behave as though you can't. And you made something that should have been easy difficult. Now, it isn't that you couldn't have opened your eyes. I mean, all of the muscles were there to get them open. You knew how to do it. You still had the ability to open your eyes. No limitations whatsoever, just open your eyes, except for the perception got in the way. And that perception your brain took and caused you to behave as though you couldn't. And for that little while, you made something that should have been easy, difficult. But the instant you changed that perception, your eyes being open, you got out of your own way, and then what should have been easy became easy. And so that is all I do with my hypnotic subjects, is to, first of all, find out the behavior that they want to change and create in their brain, with their mind, the perception they have changed. But not the behavior. I dwell on the end result suggestions. For example, the person that wants to stop smoking, I suggested that them that now your lungs are fresh, clean, and healthy. All the veins, arteries, blood vessels are open. Blood circulates unrestricted. Now that is an end result suggestion. And somehow their brain knows how to create the behavior so it becomes reality. Now the behavior is being a non-smoker. But the subject does not have to be concerned about the behavior any more than you had to be concerned about moving your arm to make a pendulum swing. By perceiving the end result as being true now, our brain somehow knows the behavior to create so the end result perception becomes reality. Now that essentially is my pre-hypnotic talk. Somebody want to make some comments or ask questions?
Well, I can tell you, from my perspective, Lindsay, from the time when you and I talked about a year ago, every session I have with clients, I use the pendulum demonstration. And not only is it a great demonstration of the power of perception, but it's also a great convincer that they can go into hypnosis very, very quickly. And whenever I'm doing my therapeutic talk with them later on in that session or in future sessions, I always remind them about the power of their mind and the power of perceptions. That well, if you can do that, if you can move a pendulum with your mind, what else can you do? And they can do anything. They can lose weight, they can swing a golf club better, they can quit smoking, they can do whatever they choose. But it's the power of the perception. And I thought it was a genius way to be able to approach that and very quickly and simply explain to clients just how the behavior can change.
I think everything's in the pre-talk. It really is.
I
I mean,
totally agree.
even when a client calls me, I mean, I really believe at that particular point, I'm kind of helping to dislodge belief systems or a sense of perception and kind of holding that up in the air that, yeah, well, maybe. But it's really the power of the pre-talk before you even enter into the hypnosis, in which that's really a lot of the times where you're placing the post-hypnotic suggestions as
Correct.
well as what they're going to experience when they're in hypnosis.
Correct. And as you observed, the hypnotherapy begins the moment we start talking to the client.
Right. The
And
moment contact occurs.
And I tell people, for this particular behavior that you want to change, most of the time it takes only one session. And I would say about 90% of the time for a specific given issue, one session is all that it takes. But I also know that if I'm telling a person it's going to take 5 sessions, that's going to take 5 sessions. But anyway.
Well, yeah, well, I don't know. In some ways, Lindsay, in terms of my work with severe anxiety panic disorders, there are certain observations that I have made, such as like I'm working right now with some people with driving anxieties, and for some reason, I'm not quite sure why in my observations over the years, it's taken basically 5 sessions for them to get to that point where the driving is no longer an issue. And usually it's a particular situation or circumstance. It may be going over an overpass, or it might be on a highway, or something like that. And I seek not to seed that into their mind. So I'll say, the basic, few session protocols are great. However, there seems to be some, at least in the niche area, the specialization that I work in, a certain I have package deals or package sessions, because in my experience in the last 30 or so years, it takes so many sessions for them to have optimal results. I mean, of course, along the way from the very first session, they experience results.
Okay, and I agree that there are some people that are going to take more than one session. But I've had many people with driving anxieties, and after a single session, they call me from Los Angeles, said, I drove this whole way. It was really fun. Now, that isn't true at all times, so I think we do need to have multiple sessions to fine tune the suggestions. But
well, yeah, like when somebody's experiencing, like, say, an anxiety or a panic attack, for the most part, that's the easy part, in ridding of those. For my clients, it's the very first session in which they'll never experience an anxiety or a panic attack again. For the other 3 to 7%, it's the second session. Then it's dealing with their sense of perception, and you're absolutely right in that, in regards of how they're thinking, their semantics usage, the certain things that they think, they say, part of their body language, in which they're re-giving a maladaptive instruction to the subconscious. And so
okay.
we spend more time in that regard of how they are perceiving a sense of threat, which again, the subconscious, automatically protects you. It clicks in the fight, flight, freeze response.
Okay, and again, I am not trying to get people to do it in one session. All I'm asking is that you take some of the things that I have demonstrated,
right,
and incorporate it into your approach. Because all of us, and I have a file on my computer that says, check out your own perceptions. Because I may be perceiving things that are not really valid. But my brain can't tell the difference between whether it's valid or not.
Could you expand on that a little bit, sir?
Okay. My perceptions determine my behavior.
Correct. And experience.
But some of my perceptions may be false perceptions.
Correct.
And so I'm behaving, feeling, and acting as though something's real that isn't real.
Correct.
So I have to keep reminding myself to be
So you're
open.
doing a checks and balance.
Oh yeah, to check my own perceptions.
Right.
If I find myself feeling or acting in ways I don't want to, then I need to check my perceptions and find out why I'm perceiving things falsely. Did that answer the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Lindsay.
Oh,
I'd like to chime in as well.
hi, Sleo.
Hi. It's great to be with you and to be with everyone here. I'm one of Lindsay's subjects. And I just want to share that I'm just so grateful for me personally after 20 years of personal development work and actually I'm very much in the spiritual realm of things and metaphysics. But what you taught me in a very short time about application of the now was so fundamental and so simple and so accurate that I had one session and I learned and understood what you taught today, and it was recorded. And so I can continue to listen to it and continue to apply this fundamental teaching. And so for me, it actually took 2 sessions, everybody, because I'm very auditory. I'm very auditory, so perceptionism and seeing visually didn't work for me so much. But then when Lindsay customized it and helped it be more auditory for me and thinking of myself a certain way, that's all I needed. And so I continue to utilize and benefit from what you taught me. Thank you.
Bravo.
Awesome.
Lindsay,
Yes.
I have a question. And that is when you actually have somebody in hypnosis, and do you have them like going through imagining themselves doing the action or feeling or whatever in a successful way? And if you do you do that, several times with them?
Yes. In just a minute, I'll lead the whole group through my, I guess we'll call it induction,
Okay.
and then give a very short suggestion for you to follow and carry out. And as I give those suggestions, if you'll perceive that what I'm saying is true now, then those suggestions will automatically occur, as with the demonstrations that I made. Now, the suggestions, once a person is in what I call a conscious state of sleep, or we could call it hypnosis, okay, are parroted from what they told me in the beginning. I asked them, well, what do you want to change in your behavior? And how would you choose to feel or act? And then I listened very closely. And then when they're in that conscious state of sleep, I suggest to them, perceive yourself now behaving consistent with what you and how you choose to feel and act. And so it's up to them to decide how to feel and how to act. And I just suggest to them that that's the way they are now. And they perceive themselves that way. The behavior just happens. Like the pendulum happens to swing the right way, right arm happens to get tired, eyes happen to stick. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess the main thing is whether you just have them do that once, or do you have them?
Well, I just have them perceive it once during a session, but then they have their recording.
Okay.
They can listen to and go through as many times as they would like. Yeah, I guess I may, during the course, give suggestions more than once, particularly when I'm bringing them out. I will suggest to them that you're feeling wonderfully well following carrying out the suggestions that I've given, and then I repeat the suggestions.
Okay.
So I guess that I do that twice, maybe.
Okay.
Debbie, are you talking about future pacing?
Am I
You're
talking?
talking about future pacing,
Oh,
where you, for instance, have a person imagine they're getting into the car,
Right.
going to the airport, and that kind of stuff.
yes.
So step by step, future pacing a successful behavior.
And there's also anchoring, the information. I mean, the magic number is 3, mentioning something 3 times. And generally, for whatever reason, the subconscious picks up on that and then incorporates it if you have the correct information for it to grab onto. Wouldn't you agree, Lindsay?
I would agree that there's nothing wrong with repetition, but I don't know who came up with the number 3.
Well, I mean, just in terms of historically and as well as just the way that the psyche and the consciousness seems to grab onto things. I mean, technically, I mean, if you're talking about marketing and stuff like that, the magic number is 8. But generally in hypnosis, at least that I've found, it's basically a similar suggestion 3 to 5 times, not stated in exactly the same way, but kind of a deepening process.
Sure, and I do that, but not intentionally, I guess. Okay, as I reflect on it, and I hadn't thought about that before. But yeah, I restate things, but differently.
Right, in different ways, right. Yeah, just to kind of deepen that particular level for it to sink and for the psyche to literally to grab onto it in a way, almost like I guess for want of a better word, like a kind of a magnetic technique, or when you're creating a new neuronal pathway through the hypnotic process. And so you're deepening that new neuronal pathway so that their habituation is now moving, instead of straight line, they're going into that new behavioral.
There are a lot of different psychology that do say the number 3, and there's a lot of history behind the number 3. Even when you think of how a mother talks to a child, how oftentimes they say, no, no, no. 3 times, it's like instinct, right? And that was one of the things that I remember in Dr. Michael Preston's book. He talks about the power of 3 and working and suggesting things 3 times. But in other things, in clinical hypnotherapy, with working with the different techniques, the 3 comes in often.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And I find
deeper
that
and deeper and deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, 3 is like a magic number.
Okay, does anybody want to chime in?
I do in my pre-talk, I do the with the hands, with the weights all the time. I'm going to shift it a little bit now to add the mind perception in there. And I love working with the pendulum I use that often, depending on the person and how skeptical they are. But also, I like doing that, and when I do group talks, because people are always in awe with that. But
Yeah.
depending on,
And the thing about that pendulum demonstration is that it breaks preoccupation.
Right.
So the person that comes in, and as soon as the pendulum starts swinging, they are no longer thinking about something else.
yeah.
Yeah, that redirection is most powerful. I really adore your technique.
Lindsay, how do you record your sessions?
I put them on a CD. Used to do a cassette tape. Now I'm trying to figure out how to just put it on a
MP3?
or recently I've just had people come in with their cell phones.
Yep.
I just said, turn your cell phone recorder on and let them record it.
Yeah, because people don't listen to CDs anymore.
So I
It's
kind of,
yeah.
You can also just use Audacity, which is a free program that you can put on your computer, and that will record it. You can transfer it right into an MP3, and you could email it to them.
Yep, it's an excellent
Exactly
program.
what I-
Actually, I use that in terms of if I'm working with somebody long distance and we're not doing an online hypnotherapy, I'll send them an MP3 that I created through Audacity for them to listen to. It's great.
and I use Audacity too, but mostly when I'm doing online Zoom or Skype sessions. But in my office, I guess there's no reason except that it is more convenient to put it on a CD.
Well, if anybody, I mean, is interested in doing anything technical, I mean, Larry Garrett is really the king of doing electronic hypnosis, as it were, as he's coined the term. I believe he has some sort of workshops or something going on where you can gain.
Would you have him or text me his telephone number or
Of course.
email his website or his email address or something?
Sure. Yeah. Garrett Hypnosis and Wellness Center out of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. Way back when, Lindsay, when I worked out of Larry Garrett's office, when I had my main satellite office out of there, he introduced me to what's called electronic hypnosis, where you would do your intake with the client in front of you, and then you'd bring them to a private room where there was a video camera in the corner. They're in a nice comfy chair. They had the headphones on. And basically, I mean, there is no limits to what you could do. I mean, you could do a pre-recording, you do an intro, and add information. I mean, there's no limit to the work that you can do with this. It's really,
As long as you have strong internet. I've had a person get to where I needed them to be. They finally got there. I was like, yes. And then no Wi-Fi.
well, this isn't internet. This is basically like office sort of work, but I'm sure that Larry has updated that. Has updated that, but yeah, no, I get that too. When there are occasions, and of course I incorporate that in my beginning of the hypnosis. If for some reason there is a connection disruption, that they'll be automatically answer the call without disrupting the hypnosis. Every once in a while there's an issue with that, but with the electronic hypnosis that I'm talking with Larry Garrett, it has more to do with inter-office sort of work, but I do believe he's updated it for the 21st century.
Thank you for that information,
and I'll send that to you, Lindsay.
Let me lead you through what we'll call induction. Give you a few.
Yeah, we have to get moving only because some people have to probably leave at 8.
True, but I want to hear about Lindsay's new book.
Should we do that instead of the?
They called it hypnosis. And it dispels a lot of things I said in my first book because have discovered they're not valid.
I might have to get that from my lending library here, Lindsay. We'll have to talk. So I'll send you that information regarding Larry Garrett, and we'll chat.
Where do we get the book? How do we get the book?
Yes,
You can get As a Pendulum Swings, my first book,
I
from
had that one. Yeah.
just on, or you can send me a request and I'll mail you one.
Yeah. The new book and the new book.
My new book won't be ready for another year.
Oh,
Daniel
Oi.
Ramachandra has his book.
Yep.
Ooh.
Ramachandra is showing us As a Pendulum Swings.
Yep. I have my copy in my office.
I have it too. I love it.
Just make yourselves comfortable and lean back. Close your eyes. Take in a very deep breath and hold it in while I count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. Take in another deep breath. Hold it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. And now just once more, deep breath. Hold it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. And now, breathing normally, just relax now and sleep now. As physically, your body, all body processes, drifting down now into a deep, peaceful sleep state, but aware of my voice at every moment. And the only thing mattering to you now is my voice, what I am saying, and choosing to, with your mind, perceive that what I'm saying is true now. Perfectly free to and able to at any moment adjust your body in any way. So you remain comfortable, relaxed, and secure, but continuing to drift into a deeper and deeper sleep. And if you feel any stress, tension, nervousness, any physical tightness remaining in your hands, with your mind, examine your hands. See if you can find any stress, tension, tightness, or discomfort in your hands, or in your arms, or in your shoulders, or your neck, or in your head, or jaw, or throat. If you can find any stress, tension, nervousness, physical tightness in any of those places, let it all go now by, with your mind, perceive every muscle, every nerve, every cell is relaxed now. In your hands, arms, shoulders, and neck, and in your head, and jaw, and throat, drifting into still a deeper, peaceful sleep now. Or if you feel any stress, tension, nervousness, any physical tightness remaining in your chest, with your mind, examine your chest. See if you can find any stress, tension, tightness in your chest, or in your upper back, or in your stomach, or your lower back, or in your hips, or legs, or feet. If you can find any stress, tension, tightness, discomfort in any of those places, let it all go now by, with your mind, perceive every muscle, every nerve, every cell is relaxed now in your chest and upper back, stomach and lower back, and in your hips and legs and feet, drifting into still a deeper, peaceful sleep now. And your mind relaxed now. The only thing mattering to you now is my voice and what I'm saying. The sound of my voice leading you into an even more secure, peaceful, calm, quiet, comfortable state of mind, body, and being. And accepting these few suggestions I am giving. For what I say is true. There are powers, there are processes at work in you that go on between your mind, your brain, your body, your being. The same powers and processes that made a pendulum swing just by you perceiving it swinging. Made an arm feel tired, although not tired, by perceiving a dictionary in balloons. Kept your eyes from opening by perceiving them being sealed. All those powers and processes now produce for you a sense of well-being and an emotional independence from the negative behavior of other people, circumstances, and events. Having peace, peace of mind, and a sense of well-being. Independent from things that are going on. I'm not saying you don't know what's going on. I'm just saying all those things that used to trigger feelings of stress or anxieties now no longer do. And at any time, should you feel any stress or tension or anxieties, you're able to remove and eliminate them just by taking in a deep breath. And while exhaling, saying to yourself, relax now and be at peace. That short exercise and phrase are messages to your brain to produce the same peacefulness, the same sense of well-being you feel right now. You'll still have plenty of physical energy and enthusiasm and motivation, clarity of mind. But by taking in a deep breath and while exhaling and saying to yourself as you do, relax now and be at peace. All those powers that are in you produce a self-confident peacefulness, sense of well-being that allows you to, in every way, perform at your optimum level. And whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, professionally, in your relationship with other people, you just continue getting better and better and better. Now, in a moment, I'm going to count up from the number 1 to the number 5. When I reach the number 5, just open your eyes and you will be wide awake, refreshed, following and carrying out the suggestions that I've given. Now, so long as they are consistent with what you would choose for you. 1, you're beginning to come up now, physical energy returning to your body. But every muscle and every nerve remains relaxed, peaceful, calm, at ease, just physical energy returning now. 2, coming up, your mind is clear, your body is refreshed, following and carrying out the suggestions that I've given, and they are simply, now you enjoy a sense of peace, peace of mind, a sense of well-being, independent from the inconveniences that go on in your life. It's as though that is how you've always been now. 4, waking up now. And 5, just open your eyes now and wide awake. And how do you feel?
Feel wonderful.
Well, and I just tell my clients the way you feel right now is the real you. Feeling anything different from what you feel right now was the result of some false perception. So if you want to change your behavior, change your perceptions. I appreciate you guys listening to me and take a few things that I've said and apply it to your approach. And I think that'll help some. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Lindsay.
you so much, Lindsay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Great job, Lindsay. As
So
always.
fantastic.
As always. Well, that concludes the presentation portion of our meeting here tonight. I want to thank everybody that showed up, guests, members of ASPH, the board, friends and family that obviously showed up as well. It's been a pleasure. Ramachandra, I have no idea what time it is where you are. Hopefully it's not 3 o'clock in the morning, but thanks for
Actually, there are 12 hours difference.
12 hours different.
I thought it was just now where he is.
It is.
Yes, good point. It is now.
And I must say, Skip, just looking at the participants, it showed on my thing 29. That's basically a normal meeting of the ASPH. So congratulations on you and Debbie and everybody and bringing this together.
Yeah, it was a great turnout, and
Yes.
the board, the other members of the board.
Yes.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
And Debbie really did the
We need to thank
yeoman's work.
Jody. Oops, we need to
Jody,
thank
yes, thank you. Yeah, we know Jody is a technical genius of everything.
No, I have a 12-year-old that can help me. So
Right, that's what I say. You got to have an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old.
yeah.
So quickly, anybody that's not a member is free to sign off at this point. We're going to talk about a little bit of the ASPH business coming forward. Some things that are going to thank you.
Also invite them to join ASPH.
Absolutely. Anybody that would love to join this amazing organization, we'd love to have you as a member. We're going to conduct more of these Zoom sessions going forward, and you're absolutely invited to participate in those sessions as well. Oh,
this is definitely fun. And again, Lindsay, I mean, that there had been times during, our organization has been here and strong. We've had our issues since 1978, right?
Yep.
There were times, didn't you hold at least 3 board positions? Weren't you the president, vice president, and treasurer at one point?
Yeah, there were 3 members that happened to show up and I wasn't the president at the time. But the 3 of us showed up, and so I said, I'll be president, you be vice president, and you be secretary. Yep.
Yeah, and Skip, so kudos to you. My goodness. Not only did Sam Sturck, our former president, have such challenging issues. He was president for 2 years. He had not only his own health issues, but then, everything going on. And then you walking into this with COVID and everything going on. Really, you, Skip, Jody, Debbie, Odette, really, Lynnette, I really applaud everything that you're doing, and I'm so glad that I could be a participant and a part of this this evening in terms of just the personal challenges that are going on in my life. Really, anything I can do to support, I'm here as much as I can be.
Well, it actually made it very easy because we didn't have to do anything for 10 months. So it wasn't difficult.
Yeah, and for anybody who didn't see the notice before, so for 2020, because of COVID and we haven't met, and the in-person longer days sessions were canceled, we will be extending anybody who did become a member in 2020 into 2021, so there would not be another payment due for next year. And then this that we did today, and if we do more here in 2020, everybody will be invited, anybody and everybody, and then we can talk about getting members to sign up again for 2021. But for right now, we just want to make sure that people can connect with other people, because there's so many people who are unconnected right now. And this has been a really beautiful way to still be able to see everybody's faces and learn from Lindsay and from Lynnette. And I'm so happy. This was such a beautiful meeting. So, and I saw a total of 30 point.
Me too. I mean, I would really, I mean, I mean, the ASPH membership dues are one of the most nominal amounts that, I mean, in any other organization that I belong to is the most inexpensive. So if our organization needs my dues for 2021, I have no problem giving that.
So let's do some house cleaning here. If anybody feels that they need a certificate to prove that they attended this training for whatever reason, you know, the NGH does not require certificates to prove your continuing education hours. But if somebody wants one to hang on their wall or whatever, send an email to Debbie, to our ASPH secretary, and let her know that you want a certificate. And then once we accrue how many people want certificates, then we'll make those certificates. In fact, Odette, I'm sure that you can.
I can draw up a
Take care of that.
certificate and make one.
Absolutely.
Cool. But
Second thing
Debbie is the ASPH secretary, not the NGH.
Oh,
Sorry.
did I not say ASPH?
You said the NGH
Oh, sorry.
secretary.
Good Lord. Well,
I
far
have
better
a
than-
question. Do we have a list of who was on tonight?
Well, I took a picture. I got probably everything but 2 names, but I actually took a picture on my cell phone. So I have, you know, we can pretty much figure out probably 80-85%.
Right, and Jody can as well. You know, I mean, she's the administrator. It's her, right, Jody? It's your Zoom account.
My
that we're
account.
going
I
through
can
this.
see all the participants right now, and we recorded it, so I don't know if
Yeah.
it will still. But
We
again,
had that-
everybody's not everybody's a member, or not everybody wants
Right.
one. So I still think we just need to send an email to Debbie,
Yeah.
ASPH secretary, and ask for one.
And also I saw your note, Marley, that you want to have, that you need to have a certificate of attendance. So email Debbie, please, and we'll get that taken care of.
Debbie, can you just give your email address over right now so that people make sure that they have it?
It is ASPH secretary @gmail.com.
Thank you.
And they could just reply to any of the 20 messages that poor Debbie sent out to remind everybody about tonight. So
Oh, you did a great job, Deb.
yes, you did.
Thanks. That was
Second thing-
Lindsay's,
Amazing
so much
job.
of that was Lindsay's doing too. And if there's anybody else on from the Lindsay group there, if you want to join, let me know. I will need more information from you than what I have right now, but you just send it to the ASPH secretary @gmail.com.
Second thing is, if there's any interest in, if somebody feels they want or need a copy of the recording of this session, this training session tonight, to review or whatever, for whatever reason they might want it, then please send an email to Debbie and let us know that you want that, and then we'll figure out how to get that recording either put on the ASPH Facebook account or by some other mechanism, but we'll endeavor to make it available.
Right,
to
right,
everyone.
right. And let me know. So I will do my best to get into, I won't do it tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow, of our YouTube account. And I'll make sure that I make you, Jody, and you, Skip, administrator, so you can, you know, upload content as desired.
And
Yeah,
if
I think
somebody
getting
wants
it
a
on
copy-
YouTube is the best idea. And then we can just share a YouTube link, and that's super easy for everyone to access.
Absolutely.
Right.
And if somebody wants a copy of Lindsay's induction that he just did, I have that all written out. I call it the Brady induction. It's one that I use in my office all the time. I stole it from him. I'm giving it back. And as long as he doesn't have a problem with people having the verbiage of that, I've already got it printed out. You just email me, skipnotherapy@gmail.com, and I'll send it to you.
No problem at all,
Okay, good.
because it was a gift, so how can you steal it?
There's
Brilliant.
also,
You're brilliant.
there's also something on my iPad. I think it was Marley who mentioned she wanted, let me see, a copy of, I assume it's Lynnette's induction. Do you have, is that okay? Or do you have a copy of that, or we just wait until we get it on YouTube?
Oh, do I
Are you
have?
asking me?
No, I'm asking Lynnette, because I saw
Oh.
that somebody wanted a copy of her induction.
Yeah, I'll share that. Or would
Okay.
they rather just have it? Yeah, absolutely. I have that I can forward to anybody. It's a gift.
Okay.
Well,
And John, glad that you could make it from Sacramento. Good job. Love having you here as well. Let's talk about future meetings. We're going to be sending you, all of the ASPH members, an email survey asking you about your interest in doing more of these. You know, we had changed our format to 3 meetings per year. We were going to do 3 in-person meetings per year, once essentially every trimester. And we were also going to do a holiday party at the end of the year. Obviously, we're not doing a holiday party this year due to COVID, but we will very likely do another session at some point soon. But I want to get some feelings from the membership about their interest in doing this again.
I really liked it. I really did.
Point last night, and that is, you know, we're not limited to people only here in Arizona. If we're doing Zoom, we can have Ramachandra doing a presentation from India.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Which would be so cool.
Yeah. We can have, in other words, anybody from anywhere. So if we want to get Michael, if we want to get Michael to do a session from Vegas, then we can have him. And I'm sure enough of you know him well enough that you can twist his arm and get Mr. DeShalit to.
Yeah, I don't think you have to twist it that much. I mean, Michael really has been an integral part of the ASPH for many, many years. I think we started around the same time, Michael and I. And yeah, no, you won't have to twist his arm, just say boo.
And also, if you know of people who are stellar presenters or have wonderful information that would be great for our organization if they did a presentation for us that some of us may not know or have access to, then put a bug in their ears and let us know, particularly Odette, since right now she is, as vice president, responsible for setting up training for the organization. Let her know that we have somebody that's awesome, that's high caliber, that can provide us information that's.
Skip, so may I ask a question, sir?
Sure.
Oh, so when I was working with Dr. Lou Heller as VP, and then when I was a president, we had a split format. So what we did is that we had the integrity of hypnosis techniques, education, and upgrading of education, the main focus, as ASPH always has. But then we also had alternative therapies in regards to where the organization with you and Debbie and Jody and Odette are at this particular time. Do you have an openness to, besides hypnotherapy, to alternative healing modalities at
So
this
if you're
time?
asking me personally, only if it
Well,
has
I'm just asking, actually, I'm asking all of you. I'm asking you and Jody and Debbie and Odette, basically where you are at this particular time, because, I mean, our organization has evolved through the years in many different ways. And so, you know, from where I have come and moved through it, you know, it may have evolved into another direction. So that's why I'm asking, so
but
that.
we did some polling of the membership previously in the year, past year, about what the interest was, what kind of topics that the membership was interested in. By and large, most of the feedback was that they're not interested in topics that are outside of the realm of hypnosis.
Okay.
They wanted it to affect their practices. They wanted it to be something that they could apply to their practices. When we're getting things like really off-topic business strategies and that kind of thing, people were saying, why are we doing this? And they were telling me that. but they weren't saying it out loud to the general membership.
So
of
like
the
kind
board.
of similar to Karen Bird and this summit she recently had. Are you familiar with
I don't know
that?
who that is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh gosh. I wish I shared it more because I did share it on our Facebook page. Karen Bird, a hypnotherapist, I'm sorry, I don't know where she's out of. She had done a hypnosis summit over the month of September and she had 21 speakers.
Oh,
Yeah, and maybe Karen, Caryn Bird, BIRD. Maybe if you just kind of Google her name or what have you,
Okay.
you might be able to get to it, and or go to our Facebook page because I did post her different summits. Roy Hunter, Larry Garrett. I mean, so many other avant-garde hypnotherapists had participated in this, and it was really in terms of the direction of practices and different modalities
And that's
of
something that, Kate, that's something that when we send out this survey to people asking them what they would like to see done, we can get a really good feel. When you're talking about, we have presenters for NLP, I think that's absolutely appropriate. It's apropos for hypnotherapists. It's something that I personally use on a day-to-day basis. So those types of adjunct modalities that we can use, or that a lot of people can use, I think that's absolutely appropriate, and I think it would be of interest to the group. But I was talking about things that are just way off topic that sound nice. I remember we had a group coming from, were they from Texas? The ones that talked about office security and all that kind of stuff.
it was awful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
It was awful.
Yeah.
well, again,
I mean, I just-
with Karen Bird, she no, if this was strictly totally hypnosis and the different dynamics of the
Well, I think the
hypnosis practice
difference-
and business over, especially with what's going on right now,
Sure.
and how to move one's practice forward and different dynamics and how you can move it forward in the 21st century and the pandemic and so on and so
I
forth.
think that now that we have an online option, we will have no limit to the number of people that we could reach out to try to present to us. In the past, we had our time in our local place and people had to agree to show up, and it was so much harder to get speakers. I don't think we're going to have any problem being able to find people who will
Yeah, I
speak for us.
agree.
Yes.
And the audience is now, I mean, it's worldwide, and the interest may be more expansive than what the initial membership poll suggested that they were interested in. It's sort of like Cadillac for the Malcolm Baldrige Award. Most places interview customer satisfaction with customers who buy a product. They interviewed people who came in and didn't buy. So it's, in a sense, we have a whole group of potential members that we
Yes.
didn't have access to before.
Yeah.
And we all know people and can get people that are flung. I have friends from the Oregon Hypnotherapy Association where I was practicing before I moved here to Arizona, who I know I could get to present on different topics.
Yeah, I wish I had thought about, advertising this. I of course I had sent the information on our Facebook ASPH site, but I didn't even think about doing it with Sweha.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I really.
That's
well,
okay,
I'll
but
work
that's a
on
great
it.
idea. We definitely
Yeah.
need to do that. And I did reach out to a couple of people that had went to Sweha that I know personally, but yeah, if there's a way to get the information to a group of them, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Odette, you have a tie-in with them.
Yeah, I do.
It's where you
Yeah.
went, and you know
Uh-huh.
the people there.
Yep.
So absolutely. Does anybody have anything else that's apropos that we need to discuss?
I would like to make two observations.
Yes, sir.
You see John Pace,
Yes.
he's
Yes.
the person that got me into ASPH.
Really?
Wow.
I was not one of the original founders, but he was.
Really?
And also,
Really?
Ramachandra, we can see you, but we can't hear you. We see your mouth moving when you talk, but we hear no sound.
Oh, gosh.
He's muted.
Anyway,
I don't know if he's muted. I think I heard him speak. Ramachandra, can you say something?
No, I can't hear you.
No.
Yeah.
I can't hear a thing you're saying.
Yeah, so you gotta move your cursor over there to see if you're
Or it
muted
could be
or
a
not.
settings thing, an audio settings thing. Maybe the microphone that he has designated is not actually working.
or maybe if you just go outside and yell loud, we could hear you.
Yeah, it could be.
Yes.
I do have something too.
Oh, Ramachandra, please unmute your thing.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Oh,
He's not muted. I think he needs a different microphone because
Yeah.
I can see when someone's muted and he's definitely not muted.
Okay.
We
Thank
don't
you,
need that.
Jody.
Can't hear you.
Normally in October,
Okay, I can hear some little
Yeah.
bit.
I think the audio device he's designated is not working.
Yeah,
Well,
it can happen.
no, that's why I went to this thing.
See, John Pace, don't you read lips?
Debbie, what did you have to say?
okay, normally October is when we get started too on our elections.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
So this is a whole different scenario for us.
Yes.
But I don't know with having not had meetings until now, if the same board, wants to see if we'll be able, I mean, we still need to take a vote, but
I will communicate with the board by email and we'll discuss that.
okay.
Does that sound
So
acceptable?
are you, Skip, Jody, Debbie, Odette, are you interested in moving forward into the 2021?
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah.
I will answer for them.
I'd love to set up some speakers. Like in a live venue or Zoom
Yeah,
or
because
whatever.
This is much work as it was
That
this
would be
year.
wonderful.
No
I mean, that would be wonderful.
I
mean,
will
I see
unless
Skip is
someone else wants it.
What'd you say, Jody?
I said I will hold my position unless somebody else wants it, then I will give it away.
blessings to you, Jody. Thank you so much. I mean, I really, I so appreciate that the years that you have given, even
I
though,
appreciated that that
yes,
she was willing.
yes, Debbie, and you too. I mean, really, I mean, if anybody does a lot of work, you really have. And on an auxiliary level, I will give as much as I can with, again, what's kind of going on with my personal life and professional life and such. But I'm totally a participant in the ASPH. I really believe and that we're a vital organization.
And Lindsay, if you're interested in being the president, I will gladly step aside for you.
Skip, you know what? You need to work on your self-confidence because you know what? You are, Lindsay, you know what? I adore the snot out of you. Lindsay, you are the best of the best. And if there was a comparison between you and Skip, I would have to step out. I couldn't make a decision.
Well, I always tell Skip I'm really pleased that he is the president, so I
He
don't have
is
to be.
brilliant. He is brilliant.
Yes.
He really is.
I'll figure out
Everybody
where
on the
you're coming up
board
with
right
that,
now, I
because
mean, I really, in terms of the years that I've been a part of the ASPH, from the early 2000s, I really, I applaud each and every one of you for giving your time
And
of
that goes
giving
for
your
you too,
time
Kate.
and giving
You've
your
given so much to this
expertise.
organization.
Pardon me?
I said that goes for you too, Kate. You've given so much to this organization, and you've always been there for us. So
And I always will be, as much as I can be
good.
at this particular time. Skip, you know, we spend much time yapping on the phone, and,
Yes, we have.
and Debbie and I, of course, we always have, and then, you know, Jody, of course, you know, we have our moments and chatting, and Lindsay, I adore you.
Okay, so I'm going to be sending an email out to the board, and then we're going to send an email out to the general membership moving forward.
And Odette, I do not mean to disenchant you from this. We just haven't met much.
We haven't had a chance to meet, so
No.
sometime when it's convenient, we should do a phone call.
Absolutely. You know, ring me up anytime. I'm available every day from 9 to 10 p.m. And if you need me before or after those hours, if I answer the phone, I'm available. If that's not, you know, happens, that's why God made voicemail. But
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah. So we'll
yes,
connect.
definitely.
So no, I don't feel any slight at all, because we just haven't.
Good. And I appreciate that, because I don't intend that in any way, shape, or form.
Well, our environment hasn't exactly allowed us to connect real easily.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. No, you sound like you. And again, you know, from Skip, you know, it seems like you are a brilliance, and so yeah,
Oh, thank you.
Interested in getting to know you.
Absolutely the same here. And
All
now
right,
we know
well,
what each other looks like.
Cool.
If nobody has anything else other than socialization, Jody, thanks for letting us use your Zoom account on
No
this.
problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we will
Thank you so much.
look forward to seeing you all very soon.
I have one
All
more
right.
thing to say.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Have a wonderful now.
Have a wonderful
Thank you,
night.
I
Lindsay.
like
Wonderful
that.
now.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
email you, Lindsay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have to adjourn? Do we have to have a motion to
I
adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Second.
Yeah, I started.
Yeah.
We're good.
Set into
Okay.
motion.
Bye, everybody.
Good
Bye.
night.
Have a great
Good
night.
night. Blessings.